So here we have Royal Flushers versus German Potatoes for Nomad. So it's in the pool for this iteration of League of Empires. And as you can see here, Dan MT is placing the dock as is customary to do ASAP on Nomad, but he's placing it in a rather small pond, which is not necessarily ideal. He may get the free fish boom here, but who knows? A little bit of a villager run in here as well, but Dan MT just takes a small hit and then runs away, no problems here. I want to bring up my cheat sheet here just to talk a little bit about the players and their rankings, so bear with me while I look it up on my phone here, since I don't have my second screen. We should be having plenty of time for Nomad, so let's just I didn't chat here. Royal Flushers should be considered the favorites here, but you never know. We have Dan MT in the green here, settling in the north with the Spanish. His current 1v1 elo is 1666, so he's a pretty solid player overall. This is the top section after all. His teammate Nathaniel here, right in the vicinity, is with the Vietnamese. Great sim to have for Nomad, because with the Vietnamese you get to know the opponent's locations once the TCs are built. Nathaniel is currently sitting at 1677 1v1 elo, so obviously a very solid player as well. Might be going for the archers or Radden archers for this one, depending on locations. I mean, Vietnamese have decent cavalry as well. Should it be needed, you could go for scouts or knights or elephants even as well. And finally, the last player of the the Royal Flushers is Rhea, settling in the middle here for the Persians. Obvious pick for Nomad for their amazing boom potential, their extra starting food and wood, 50 plus 50 of each. You could drop the dock right away and just pump out the fishing ship right after we have the house app. Rhea is currently sitting at 1700 1v1 elo, so the average of the Royal Flushers here is almost 1700. Now let's move over to the German Potatoes. We have Akkal-AOE in the purple or pink or whatever we call it here at 140811. Going for the Koreans, I don't mind that pick. Korean villagers, they have +3 line of sight, which can come in handy on Nomad when you want to get some scouting intel down. Just note the broader overall sight here for the Korean villagers. And for his teammates, we have Mr. Tuyo here in the orange, playing as the Vikings. Probably going to play the naval role here to emphasize on water, maybe attempt a fast castle play and get these longboats out. That Vikings unique unit on water could be something. And they all obviously have an amazing boom as well, with instant wheelbarrow and handcart in the feudal and castle ages. And finally, I don't think I mentioned him, but it's Dom. No, sorry, Dom. I mentioned already. Who is the last one? B-Boy, I think I neglected. B-Boy is with the Persians. He is currently at 1473 1v1 elo, and going with the Persians here already has the fish boom going, as we can see. So now, in terms of since this is a Nomad start, I will be fast forwarding until the feudal age, because there's not too much to be seen or said in the early stages of Nomad. So let's see what this game will bring us. See, the villager counts pretty different here among the players. I think Nathaniel is lacking in the fishing department, maybe. Only 2 fish out, or he's been struggling for food at home, who knows. Tuyo as well with the Vikings here. Seems to struggle a little bit, didn't find any sheep to scout with as much here, so it's in with a bit of a rough start here in terms of population. Dom, however, seems to be doing nicely here. He is the Koreans, actually. Koreans also have something to have a say in the naval battles, by the way. They have the unique unit, Turtle Ship. So that's something we could see into play as well. A very tanky, unique unit of water for the Koreans. 29 pop for Dom AoE, still not going up to the next age here. Also struggling for food to do so, but there's the click. So most of the players now on the way up, except for Tuyo going for an extended fuel age, which might be justifiable with Vikings here, with gold access down here. I think we're looking at a fast castle play for Vikings here, which could be dangerous considering that our Vietnamese friend here, Nathaniel, already knows the location of the Vikings player's TC, and it's pretty close to Nathaniel's actually. So the fuel age is in for two of the Royal Flushers players here. We have triple production of fire galleys for Rhea here. So Rhea is going to take some responsibility for the water fighting here. Let's have a look at Rhea's scouting on water as well. It is limited, but there were some flares not too long ago, so it could be that one of his teammates have scouted the enemy docks. So Rhea certainly knows about this one, and yeah, 3 military already. B-boy with only 1, but bringing fire galleys to the fight here from the right hand side. So Dom is going to lose some fish here now. It's with 7 fish up here though, and then Rhea must know about that one. Wait, he doesn't actually. Surely he's gonna run into it soon enough. 3 vs 1 here, and Dom doesn't stand a chance for the time being here against Rhea's forward. One fire galley going to scout the rest of the shore and find hopefully the other players' docks as well. No patrol here, Rhea just passing the fishing ships of Dom here, or is he going in for the fight here? Maybe that could be the case. Yeah, right. Yeah, so keeping the numbers low of Dom here. Dom is with only 2 docks as well as Rhea is with 3. Not to mention that Persian docks produce faster, so they have an easier time taking water control with Persians here. Consistent scouting now on water for Rhea. Meanwhile, we have a Spanish thrush in progress on land from Dan MT here. Dome responding with the Korean towers here, which is not a bad thing at all. If Dom can pull off some form of fast castle there, he's going to have the guard towers instantly and would then be fending off the Spanish thrush with no problem whatsoever here. Lots of fish here not being contested for the German potatoes, so that's some good news here. And Rhea actually losing a little bit of terrain on water here as well against B-Boy, but going to even out the odds here now with 3 ships pulling in. Yeah, mainly focusing on the fish here now, which I think is the correct call to limit the food eco of the opposing team. Castle Age well on the way for Nathaniel, also for Tuyo here, so 1 player on each team on the way to the Castle Age. Nathaniel with 3 more population to support it though. And what's the Vietnamese going to bring here? 1 fire galley from Rhea here to contest the fish of the Viking just in time here before Castle Age can kick in, and Tuyo can get longboats on the field potentially, or on the water rather. I get a feeling that Tuyo wants to go for archers on land here as well. He's dropping the barracks at least with the Vikings here. B-Boy doing a decent job at massing units on water now, but it's still 9-6 lead for Rhea here. Don't see any land army presence from Rhea here, doing great job at consistent production on water. Doesn't contest the docks for now, wants to get rid of the armies and the fish first. Castle drop from Tuyo here. Doesn't that? Well, it secures terrain for sure, limits the tower rush expansion here, but it's also difficult for these villagers to actually drop a castle in the middle of two Spanish towering fire and firing at them here. Kind of looks like German potatoes are stabilizing a bit of water here now. So very significant Fire numbers here for B-Boy and Rhea running into a fight with two ships and going to be outnumbered here. It's still 10 to 8 total, but Rhea failing to keeping the armies together could be an issue here. Tuyo had to bail on the castle in the middle here, in the middle of these two towers here, so Dan and T doing some good defensive measures here to keep the defensive castle from going up in between two golds here. Map control wise, it's tough to tell who's in the better spot here. Rhea seems to have a good opportunities to expand left and right and south here, whereas Dan, MT, and Dom are fighting for terrain in the north here. I think Dom is going to be stuck in a few later while yet. As for Dan, who is just consistently towering forward here and being annoying, buying time for his teammates to progress through the ages. Rhea on the way to the castle age as well, with 48 population to support it. Nine to 7 is the count of military numbers here. Building site obstructed. There's a Dom trying to... Ah, I love that. Trying to... I'm not sure if that's intentional or not to actually block. I think this is dock block, isn't it? I mean, if he is able to build this dock, then Dan MT's fish can't drop off fish easily here. Knight's raids now in progress for Rhea. Double stables here. I'm sure he has a consistent eco to back this. 21 on food, none on gold. Okay, so never mind. Doesn't actually have any on gold just yet, but now going with 11 villagers for a TC on gold here, so that should change very soon. There's also a market that could manipulate the resources for Rhea as needed for units production. Has some presence on land now, 17 military total, most of it on water. Fire ship is in and now going to contest B-Boy's numbers more easily here. Now moving on to go for the Persian docks here. Dan MT just with the constant towers annoyance here. Dom only 5% castle age, whereas Dan with the Spanish is 80% up. Let's look at this stone count. It's probably in a nice spot to afford a castle soon enough, at least upon reaching castle age. Then he could simply drop a castle somewhere in the area here and maybe even deny Dom of castle age here. Suddenly docking the pond doesn't seem so silly for Dan MT here, because there's still deep fish to be taken and it's not really being contested by other players here, except for Dom with a dock over here. But seems like he's bailing on the idea unless he wants to actually make a fire galley over here and stop Dan MT with some income. Here comes the forward castle of Dan MT, and that's going to be the death blow to Dom AOE's home base here. GG is called, and it is the Royal Flushers taking the win on Nomad here. Quick browse through the stats here. Very strong display of saves for Nomad for Royal Flushers, though Persians, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Vietnamese knowing all locations. Spanish faster builders for potential towers or castle drops. And Persians to more quickly produce units on water already from feudal age. And the massive economy that just kicks in more and more as the ages progresses. I don't hate German potatoes' civ choices either, but they've the fact that Nathaniel gets to know the location of all of the enemy ATCs once they are up is actually quite huge on Nomad for planning strategies moving on. Pretty significant villager high here for Royal Flushers in the end. Did obstruct Dom especially quite a lot, the Koreans player. And yeah, not too much army to mention here. There's a naval presence from Rhea and B-Boy here. But still, with the elo gap between these two teams, Royal Flushers are, of course, expected to do a good showing.